That's the sound of thousands of wet fish falling from the sky in the southern Downs town of Warwick at the turn of the last century. Or at least the best approximation I could muster with a bottle of water, a plastic container and my own tongue. It was 1901, year of Federation, when a truly bizarre natural phenomenon played out in an outback Queensland town. A wild storm was hammering down rain across much of the region, but two large properties had an odd addition to the run-of-the-mill precipitation. Raining fish is certainly rare, but not unheard of, with waterspouts or strong updrafts over a body of water sometimes capable of pulling small fish into the sky and depositing them even hundreds of miles away. But this was different. These particular fish were cursed.
Fish fall all over the place. Like 1924, there was out at Longreach, they were falling out there in the rain. 1936, they reported at Cloncurry, and of course, even around the world, there's frogs and rats and stuff falling out of the rain. It's not unusual. It's in 1901. That's when fish fell in their thousands, live fish, across Warwick, and the carnage that they caused. It was amazing.
That was author, historian and detectorist Harold Peacock from the History Out There blog. A man who wouldn't even turn on his windscreen wipers if a sturgeon plopped onto his station wagon. Now, these erstwhile river dwellers presumably provided some terrific fertiliser for the farmers of the district. But I wouldn't exactly call it good luck.
They looked like small brim fry, so they weren't just little guppies. They were actually, sort of a bit bigger than that. And the ground for acres was covered with them. It was 3 kilometres from the Conda mine, so it was a little bit away from the water, but it was just the volume of the fish.
Two properties in particular were affected by this unseasonable fish fall. One was owned by Andrew Margetts, whose relations' life trajectories all seemed to go downhill after this strange event.
His whole family, actually quite remarkable. Andrew's brother was Albert Margetts. Now, he was in the courthouse a number of times, including with his arch nemesis. They were allegedly threatening to burn down each other's houses and cars and everything. But Andrew's brothers, one was also a dentist in Toowoomba. He spent time at Bogger Road for failing to pay his wife alimony, and then he knocked down a woman and killed her in Toowoomba's Ruthven Street, and later died after collapsing in a barber's shop. So the family of this victim of the flying fish, the raining fish, it was all encompassed. It was just disaster.
But this meteorological malediction got worse than that.
And the father-in-law of Andrew's daughter, he was Captain Wish, very well known in the Queensland Legislative Assembly in the Royal Artillery. Now, Captain Wish and his wife were among those killed in the tragedy of the Quetta in the Torres Strait, which remains the worst peacetime maritime disaster in Queensland's history.
Not good at all. But not too far away was the farm of Arthur Boyce, another relative of the ill-fated Margetts.
He was out working and chopped himself through the foot with an axe with his full force, and he had to then have a 9-hour journey by wagon back into Warwick, and he just suffered pain, a huge amount of blood loss, and I'm pretty sure he never wanted to see fish again.
Unfortunately, this Piscean punishment still had one cruel drop of damnation for poor old Arthur Boyce. The double-doomed farmer met his death in the most ghastly way possible, on the railway outside Warwick. While crossing through the loco one day, it suddenly started to move, causing him to fall. He managed to hang on for some time, but was eventually pulled under the wheels and picked up hours later, having been horribly mutilated by several trains passing back and forth over his remains in the meantime. All because, if you believe the hype, the devil's fish rained down over the Downs.
It did happen periodically. It's not unknown, but the chaos or the seeming curse of the raining fish was a little unusual back 124 years ago in Warwick.